Hi, today I'm gonna be going over my Valley amplifier for endurance, and it's a pretty simple build. First, we're gonna come here to the spawns. It can spawn all the way over there until all the way over there. And what we are gonna do is block this entire side. It's not much blockable, but we're just gonna path all the paths into this, following this natural terrain, into this tunnel. And the ones that spawn here also come up this way and into the tunnel. Here they're gonna find first all the sand walls as usual for propanes. Then they can get pushed again just to get rid of the propanes if any made it through. Then they're gonna get pushed into 2 timeouts. And well, then the usual, just dynamos and wall darts hitting them all the way. Then timeout for smashers. This one is gonna be optional, I'll explain it a bit later. Then they come at the ramp, hit by more dynamos, wall darts, the usual, and ceiling sappers. And then to the end. Now, to make that pathing work, we're gonna need blockoff in 2 sections. Mainly this one, and then on this side. We can start on this side. Here we just come to where this natural terrain goes flat again, and we place 4 floors and 2 pyramids. There you can see. And then 2 ramps, walls, another wall here, 2 edited pyramids, another 2 edited pyramids surrounded by walls. Not here, obviously. Then here, this is gonna be just an 80 pyramid with a floor below. This is just because here the hulls can come up, so this is extra blockoff. Then after this terrain ends, we have more ramps surrounded by walls. And here we have a little box with a pyramid and another floor below. And this is just to block that side and this side. Then here we have a little box for assassin heads. This is gonna be for Valley and also for the lava amplifier. Assassins are usually gonna come here, this way, and into the timeout box for them. Here I'm basically using this one and this one are gonna be healing dynamos. These ones, creating double crit damage, and heals attached. This wall launcher is also going to be healing. This one, triple impact, double reload and heals attached. This one can be anything, you could use also healing, but I'm using one with a reload, like this, creating crit damage and reload, and durability instead of heals. And then the usual gas trap with creating double crit damage and effect duration. That should take care of all the hacks. This one has healing because sometimes a pitcher is gonna start throwing at this wall. So just to keep it healed until the dynamo reloads and kills it. Also for this one, I'm using 2 more of the healing wall launchers. The same perks as the other one. This is also a bit for assassins. It's gonna push them like to here, and they're gonna recalculate and go inside the timeout. Then for the other blockoff, these 2 walls are gonna be very important. If these walls break, the build could fail, because these ones count as blockoff, that's important. And if, let's say, this one breaks, smashers are gonna start trying to break here. even though it doesn't look like it's very important, it is. So it shouldn't break unless you are like shooting at the spawns for some reason. Then we get here, we have 2 floors, and we place 2 pyramids on top of those. Surround everything with walls. The same here, another 2 boxes with pyramids and floors below. So it has 4 floors with 4 pyramids and everything surrounded by walls. This wall might be optional, but I'm leaving it here just in case anything goes wrong. And this one would be optional, but I'm using it to put a wall there to shoot through the window. And then the last blockoff, this one acts for valley and for beach. It has 3 walls, another 3 walls, and 8 pyramids. And that should be it for the blockoff. Now we can take a closer look at the tunnel and the trap perks. First, we're gonna start with the sun walls. This one and this one are gonna be the fastest ones, double reload and for durability. Then here we're gonna use one with blue reload here, and the rest the same as the other one. Here, this one is gonna have purple instead of the other one. And on this one, you're gonna have with green here. This is also, so all these 4 sun walls are gonna be alternating at different reload times. You can add another one here if you want, that's gonna be optional. It's not gonna be used very often, but some houses are gonna come this way, up here, and then up. So maybe you want one there, so you can use either with 1 reload or with a gray reload here instead. That's gonna be up to you. You can also use a wall launcher if you want, but it doesn't really make much difference. It will just push them back here without doing much and wasting one of the crowd control hits. Then, as you can see, in this wall has a window on it, just so this wall dart can shoot through. And the wall dart is gonna be the same we use on the other arms, just crit rating, double crit damage, and durability. Then the ceiling electric fields are gonna be the same, crit rating, double crit damage, and they're gonna be nature. Same as on all the other amplifiers, all these electric traps are gonna be nature if possible. You could also use energy, but in case waves 21 and 26 hit on this amplifier, you want nature traps to do extra damage. So those 2 are gonna be that perk, and I'm using other 2 here. This is mainly because even if one of the has doesn't get inside of the timeout, the ceiling electric field can hit the has that are just walking and didn't get pushed. Here we have another one. Again, since there's a spawn here, they're gonna come up, and this one hits them. Then for all the wall dynamos, we're gonna have on this one a reload speed, again nature, crit damage and damage. On all of these, I'm gonna use one with the reload and one with the reload, and on the other side in front with double crit damage, like this, crit rating, double crit damage and damage, because these wall launchers are gonna push us faster inside of here before the wall dynamos can reload. So it's better to have them alternating, so there's more chances for the one of the wall dynamos to be reloaded by the time it gets inside. Then the same is gonna be for all the other ones. since these are on the same tile, we use one with the reload and one with double crit damage. One with the reload, one with double crit damage. One with the reload, one with double crit damage. Here, double crit damage, because it's alone and it's at the end of the tunnel to finish off anything that makes it to that point. Here we have two with double crit damage, and one with a reload. One with a reload and one with double crit damage. Then for the retractables, the same as other ramps, crit rating, double crit damage and damage. We have a few of those. This is just extra damage, and it's gonna be better than the flame grills in case of waves 21 and 26. Then the retractables, same as other ramps. Here there are this crit build, or if you want with heals attached in case of any broken explosions. Then these three wall launchers, those are all gonna be for durability and double reload. And that should be enough to push all the huts inside of here very consistently. Mostly because they're gonna be frozen. You can replace the freeze traps with mod wooden floor spikes if you want. I haven't changed this section of the amp since before the update, and it's been working great, even though it might seem like there's a lot of crowd control here. For the most part, it still has all of its uses up to this point. So for these 4 freeze traps, I'm just gonna be using with 3 durability, double reload, and effect duration. I don't want impact because those would freeze more easily the smashers, and I want the smashers to be reaching this side without being crowd controlled too much, because I want them to die inside this tunnel for the most part. Then all the ceiling gas traps are gonna be the same as other amplifiers. Crit rating, double crit damage, damage and effect duration. If you want, you can move all these tiles one tile higher and replace them with ceiling electric fields. That's gonna be up to you. But since the 2 waves that hit this amplifier, like on every run, are gonna be 15 and 25, and those are physical waves, I want the ceiling gas traps to do a lot of damage to all the physical gas. Then here, all these ceiling sappers are gonna be damage, double crit damage, and crit rating. The same for these 4. And then we have 2 broadsides. You could replace this with another combo of wall dynamo and wall darts here. Like break those and put another wall here with wall darts and another here. That's up to you, as usual. And I'm using one with double crit damage and one with a reload. Then, well, here we have another selective field. It doesn't shoot through this window, usually, unless everything is broken here. But when they are walking here, it should be within the range. We also have, for example, this edited wall to make them path closer to this tile, to make sure this other wall there hits everything. Same here, just to make sure this wall there hits any house that makes it. And then we have these 3 low walls. This is to make sure the smasher path stands here. The wall pushes them here. They don't break this one, and they come up here, they get stuck and get pushed again, and so on. Even if a smasher makes it to here, the wall pushes them over the low wall and into here, and they have to do all the turn I can. So for this wall light, the wall light we have there, both are gonna be triple impact, double reload, and effect duration. This is only for smashers. You could, for example, just close it here and replace this tar pit and this wall light with a dynamo, another retractable, and here another dynamo, and remove this, but that's up to you. I want to have more chances to kill the smashers. And that should be it for the trap perks. You can, for example, on these ones, like this wall dart, and this one, you could put like a reload instead of double crit damage. Just because, for example, the smasher is gonna get stuck here, and that's gonna be enough time for this wall dart to shoot them twice. Once when the smasher got here, they're gonna get shot because it has a 3 tiles range. And then here, because the wall does reload really fast, it can shoot it a second time. And same here. It can shoot it many times, just due to the faster reload. I'm not doing it at the beginning, mainly due to durability issues. Like with the reload, it has just for 4.2 seconds of reload time, so it shoots really fast. But that's gonna be using the durability much faster than usual. Now, as you may know, the waves 15 and 25 are always gonna be on this amplifier, and those two waves have a lot of smashers, so we have to be ready for that. Usually most of the smashers are gonna die inside the tunnel. Maybe like 2 or 3 might be able to escape when the traps are reloading, but for the most part the tunnel should kill most of them. But for the ones that manage to escape, we're gonna be using this smasher bridge. Here we're gonna start one tile before these natural parts of the terrain with one floor, 80 this way, another one here, regular floor. This one is 80 this way just to give support for this wall light that I mentioned the perks before. This is to push any smasher that decides to walk through the bridge instead of charging. Usually the smasher is gonna see that wall and it's gonna start charging from here, and it's gonna fall. But sometimes, since a couple updates ago, they decide to walk this way and start punching instead of charging from the distance. So the wall light is gonna prevent that. Then we get to here, and we have 2 low walls, another 4 low walls, and 2 more low walls here with the floor. This is for the miniboss. Usually the miniboss is gonna come here, stand still, and then it's gonna teleport either into the ground, like around here, or it's gonna land on this platform and stand still and teleport again. Then we have these 2 arches. I'm not using here because those get destroyed by the smashers charging. Then we have this arch and 1 pillar. And this other pillar seems like it's not doing anything, but it usually makes the bridge a bit more stable. Even though sometimes smashers can break this pillar and this one. Since I placed those 2, this has been working a lot more consistent. There used to be a time like 3 patches ago that sometimes the smashers didn't recognize the bridge, and just placing this extra pillar that seems like it doesn't do anything just fix all the problems. So just to keep that in mind. Then on Wayne 25, as you may know, there's a UFO wargames. That means there's gonna be a giant UFO just shooting down and breaking your builds and spawning a mini boss. And there's a lot of ways to deal with it. The way I do it, I just build up to the height of the UFO. Since I'm usually AFK there, I just build up from here. I build up 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles and stand here. And that's gonna put you at just the right height as for the UFO. And then I use the xenon bow with 4 damage and shoot it right through the middle of the UFO, and that kills the UFO in only one shot. So that's gonna be the easiest way. If you don't have a xenon bow, you can do with any other launcher. For example, Santa's Little Helper, or I don't know, B6 launcher. There's a lot of options. Usually it's gonna be rocket launchers, but the xenon bow is by far the best option. Then a few other things to keep in mind are gonna be, for example, on wave 15, there's gonna be mist spots, and those are gonna spawn mini bosses. They have a lot of possible spawns. Most of them are gonna be like here or here. There's even a couple down there. But there's a few that can cause some issues, but it should be fine anyways. And those are gonna be, there's 2 spawns that are like here and around here, and those are gonna break some of this blockoff. That's why I have a lot of blockoff, just in case some of it breaks. It should be still fine. Sometimes the mini bosses are gonna just come up this way and climb up and try to get to where I'm AFK. Other times this mini boss is gonna come here and break through here, but it should be fine anyways. Also, I've been testing it, and these 2 almost never spawn. Like, if I remember correctly, it was like 3 spawns out of 40 runs that I tested for wave 15. So I'm not gonna worry about it. It's a pretty low chance to spawn here. And the next one that may cause some issues sometimes, it's here, right on the retractable spike. And that mist spot is gonna break, well, the floor, those walls, this wall, those other walls. But it should still be fine, because this one is just like a bit of extra damage in case any has made it past all the timeouts. But it doesn't make much difference, it's just extra damage. This one is also pretty rare. Most of the spawns are just in the open without breaking anything. There's also one here that can break this wall, which makes this broadside pretty useless. So that's why maybe you want to just replace the broadside with a dynamo and a wall dart here. Then another thing, if you have low tech, as you can see, I'm running with a very high tech, which gives me more trap damage. If you have lower, let's say like around 3000, maybe you're gonna have a bit more has making it to the end of the tunnel. So you can just have extra retractables here, or you can add like ceiling zappers all the way to the amp, and ceiling electric fields like there. Just make sure you don't place any walls like from here and anywhere here close to the amp, or the smashers are gonna start charging at those and ignore the smasher bridge maybe. So just to keep that in mind, you can add extra damage. Then the next thing, do not place any floors on these tiles. As you can see, I just have it open instead of having a retractable. This is because if you place floors there, smashers are actually gonna start punching through here. Just because this acts as a bit extra blockoff. Like, because has can come up this way naturally. So with that, makes the smashers act different and start breaking through the blockoff. So just keep those two tiles open and you're not gonna have any trouble. And then another thing, it's gonna be maybe explosions. As you can see, you're just using these 4 instead of extra sandwells that I tend to use on other ramps. Like I usually use like 6 different rarities, and I'm just using these 4 here, and on this side only 1. This should be enough for the most part, but just keep in mind that if you run out of durability, you can expect some explosions. For example, the fastest sandwells, these ones, if you have max durability, it has 123 uses, and that's gonna give you an uptime of around 15 to 16 minutes, depending on how many times the has are actually walking here and no empty space between the has walking. So after that, they start to run out. The fastest ones first, and then the slow ones, etc. But just keep in mind that if there's many random waves on this amplifier, you're gonna maybe have to replace some sound walls. Or you can come here and place a base, just to tank any explosions that happen. For example, if you get here, wave 15, 16, 25, and 26, during wave 26, they're gonna run out because those 4 waves are more than the 15 minutes, because 25 and 26 are pretty long. So just keep that in mind. I usually come here on wave 25 and place my base, because I'm AFK until like wave 23 or 24. And if I want to continue to do a full run, I just come here, place my base, and then go up to my AFK spot again. Then make sure that even if the trap durability on this one is low, even if there's explosions, nothing is gonna happen. Then I may have missed a bit of blockoff. For example, here there's a wall, then a pyramid, and we have that floor with the ceiling electric field. This is all just to make the smasher's path to this tile, instead of breaking just one and walking a bit here and skipping all that damage. And then one more thing, on these ones you could use, for example, just low walls, and I'm keeping them as windows just for the extra help. This is mainly in case the sandwalls are running out and a propane makes it to here, for example, and it self-explodes, and these ones are gonna have more HP just to tank the explosion. Then here sometimes there's a bit of phasing, like if you have like 4 smashers pushed here, one of those can phase through this wall and fall here, and then it's gonna break this wall, but it doesn't really matter. You can also open these wall dynamos and use an edited window, and then put the wall dart here and another wall dart on that one. That's just to do a lot of extra damage to any smashers that are inside the timeout. But there's a lot of things you can do with this pathing. I'm just doing a really simple tunnel. and it always works. So feel free to get creative with this. Just blocking this side and doing any tunnel you want here. For example, just like I said before, with removing these wall lights and just doing extra damage to anything that comes here, not just smashes. Also, if you're wondering why we have just this one empty tile, you could add an extra ceiling electric field, but this is just acting as a flinger shield. That's the only tile they could actually throw, maybe. Everything else is covered by blockoff and just the roofs of the tunnel. So that should be the only spot that they could throw. So, as I said, you can just add a ceiling electric field or a gas trap to make it useful, but I'm just keeping it cheap. You can also, if you want, like, up here, just have a bunch of ceiling electric fields or tire traps. Or maybe if you want, you can just have like wall darts here, or more wall darts here, like I'm already doing there. You can do a lot of stuff here at the beginning, just be careful with explosions, so test any changes you do. I'm just sharing what's been working for me. Alright, so that should be pretty much it. So good luck building and experimenting with the build, and see you on the next episode.